So after years of training consistently, I just did not think this was even possible for me until this happened. So first we have to recognize just who the research has proven can actually do this, because it's not possible for everyone. But surprisingly, it's probably actually more possible for you than you might actually think. So of these categories, figure out which one of these that you fall into, because they're the subset of people that can actually experience a recomposition. So first, you're just gonna have untrained individuals or novice lifters, people that have never been in the gym before, they're beginners. Then you also have detrained lifters, people who have been training consistently, maybe have grown a lot of muscle, but have gotten lax or lost some of their progress and just not been training for a while. Maybe they've been out of the gym for a while. So the third group is actually people who are just inconsistent in their training, or maybe they're not even following proper progressive overload programming. They're also in a spot where they can experience these benefits. Now the fourth group is actually the group that I fell into, which was moderate to high body fat individuals. So you're carrying extra weight more than you normally would. Now this is debated as to where this usually lands, but for men, it's typically somewhere at 15% or higher, and 22% roughly or higher for women. But let me just say that is so incredibly individual, just depending on the person. So I had actually reached probably my heaviest point since I had started training. So I had body fat to lose, you know. I was a little bit fluffy, let's put it that way. But I actually have been training consistently, and I also wasn't new to the gym. So really, I didn't think I had any opportunity to be able to do this, except for the fact that I was, you know, had a little bit extra body fat. But there actually was one additional factor that I used that most people just tend to completely forget. So this really just came down to how I was training, because with the type of program that I was following, I essentially was a novice. And now in just a minute, I'm gonna give you each step completely laid out and ready to go for you. So for years, I've actually just been following full body routines built all around bilateral and some unilateral traditional strength training exercises. That's how I've trained. But this new program that I followed actually was insanely unique and actually made all the difference. And it was easily probably the most unique program that I've ever followed. But the interesting thing is, what was it about this program that actually made the difference? So even though I wasn't a novice to lifting, for this program, it's like I was a novice. It's like I was completely new to this. And I know that might sound odd, so let me explain it to you this way. I was performing movements that I had never done before. So these are things completely new to me that my body's not used to doing. So when I started doing this program, I mean, for sure, I'm getting benefits from like skill acquisition, because when you do a new movement that your central nervous system is not used to, you're going to have some new skills that you build that are going to cause your strength to increase. And when you have these new movements that you've never done before, there's a level of skill that your body has to develop, that your CNS improves upon. And as your body improves on that skill, your CNS gets better at actually providing more explosiveness and power to those movements so that you can actually lift more. But here's the thing, that for sure I had some skill acquisition, even though I'm eating in a deficit and I'm actually trying to lose body fat. So I had some skill acquisition that increased my strength, my numbers went up. But there was a point after which I had received really the skill acquisition. I'd been doing the movements for a while, but yet my strength continually increased even beyond that. Now the clearest indicator that you are building muscle is that your lifts are going up, which was exactly what I was seeing with this whole process, even though I was eating in a deficit. So it was actually the, come on, turn. So it was actually the next part of this that was really crazy. My weight actually didn't change that much, but my old self probably would have looked at what was going on and would have panicked, because the scale wasn't moving, the scale wasn't going down, which to me years ago would have said, you're not making progress, you need to slash calories. But it actually would have caused myself a lot of harm. I would have gotten less results if I had done that. But I'm an insanely busy dad and stress is high. So I've just learned over the years to be able to moderate my training and my stress levels and my sleep in order to actually get results faster. So I just stayed the course, even though the scale wasn't actually changing, because I could tell I was eating in a deficit and my strength was going up, and in the mirror I could see I was losing body fat. Now if you're wondering why I'm swinging on a rope, I'll get to that in just a minute. But before I give you the quickest way that you can actually do the same thing, you've got to first determine if this is even right for you. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Because it's kind of like that saying, if you chase 2 rabbits at the same time, you're gonna end up catching none of them. Hopefully I'm getting that quote right. But when you have focused goals, you're actually gonna get results faster. So you really gotta determine, what is your main goal right now? Like for me, my main focus at that point was losing body fat, but I happen to be gaining strength along the way. So just solidify what your main goal is and stick with that. But if you're a beginner, you're new to lifting, don't even worry about it. You go lose fat and just go strength train, and you're gonna build muscle no matter what you do, even if you're in a deficit. But if you've determined that this is the right move for you to do a body recomposition, here's the steps completely laid out, and I also want to give you that training program as well. Whew. It's been a long time. But step number 1, we've kind of already done, is figuring out which category you actually fall into. So step number 2 then is to be eating in a deficit. And I recommend really a deficit around 300 to 500 calories. Too much more than that, you're gonna have a really hard time trying to add muscle. And less than that, you're not gonna be losing body fat as much. But if you're not tracking, all I simply want you to do is aim to eat whole foods, then eat that 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight or more than that, and you're probably gonna be just fine. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. So step number 3 is actually to now just introduce a novel stimulus to your body. So if you're new to lifting, this is just going to be lifting weights for the first time, really consistently focusing on progressive overload. Or if you're not new to lifting, maybe this is just new exercises for you. Because if it's something new to you, your body will have to adapt to that new stimulus. But of course, we got to do this within reason. So I don't want you going to do donkey kicks just because you've never done them before. You got to focus on compound exercises, things that are actually optimal for muscle building. Now, step 4 is to actually lift to build muscle. Even if you're in a deficit, your goal is to still lift like you're actually building muscle. So step number 5 then is to actually adjust your training based on your life and your stress. So for example, on a night where I get really interrupted sleep, because I do have 4 kids, they still wake up in the night. I'm gonna wake up that morning and I'm probably not gonna work out, or I'm going to scale back my training, because recovery and sleep are far more important than me just getting in another workout. You wanna remember that you're trying to send your body the signal that your environment is safe, so that it's willing to be able to let go of body fat. And when you're hammering yourself in your workouts, even if your recovery and your stress are not good, it's really just gonna slow down your progress that much more. Now there's one more step, but I know you're wondering, why on earth was I doing stupid things swinging on a rope? And it's because I used to do this years ago. This is like my childhood stomping ground, swinging on ropes. And it was a skill that I haven't done in a long time, and I was detrained. So I felt like I had to, improve my skills again. Although I am, not gonna lie, a little nervous at that old pulley and whether or not I can now hold my whole 170-pound self. And step number 6 is to actually check out this program right up over here, because it's the program that I followed that allowed me to be able to do this. And as always, just go get strong, but first go give your kids a hug like I'm about to go do, because I think that family matters more. And I will see you over there on the next video.